Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to another race as part of the Open League of A Link to the Past Randomizer. My name is Radical Sniper 99, and today I am joined by Wired Wiki for this race between krelbel and Matkap.
Yes, welcome. So what you're gonna see today is what you have seen like the whole week. It's gonna be a spoiler lorky sanity where both runners have a pilot. In krelbel's case, that's 2C, and in Matkap's case, that's Red Kitsune.
Right, so as soon as the race gets started, a spoiler log is dropped into the race channel that the pilots will have access to, and they will begin frantically searching that document, trying to build the best route possible. So we'll probably see usually a Houlihan type start just to kind of build up some money from our runners. And then after that, it's kind of, hey, where can I get something fast?
Yes, exactly. And especially, I might be slightly biased because Team OK Game is actually my team, but I kind of know that 2C wants to route in the boots as quickly as possible.
Definitely. Even in my own races, my teammate and I both kind of agreed, and we are off. And Matkap goes to Sanctuary, and we got 300 rupees. So I don't think we're going to see a Houlihan anytime soon.
No, it seems like at least for now they're set for money, unless there appears to be something on Zora. Interesting though, Madcap actually going to house and then warps away from the sanctuary, go to house. It seems like krelbel is doing the same right now. So
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I would also, it looks like we're going to get an uncle route from krelbel, though. While Matkap is going for those 50-50 bomb drops.
Yeah, Madcap deciding one is enough. So I'm curious where might be going to Mini Moldorm, or actually use a bomb for at least a weapon. Also going to Uncle now.
Sounds like something must be there. That is a great start.
How vanilla, though.
I mean, who's going to pass up a sword this early? And a flute.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, next best thing to boots is a flute, always. Anything that grants you mobility.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And plus, this is a great way to route in Kakariko as well, because you want to activate the flute anyways.
So the big thing, obviously, here, we're going to need the items. We need everything to complete our 7 dungeons, but we also have to keep an eye out for keys. So, you want to find the easiest ones, but also ones that give you that mobility through those dungeons. So you'll kind of see, hey, for pod, how much do I need? I need at least 1 to get to Helmasaur, but, is the bow convenient? Do I have to go through the front door? Do I have to go to the dark maze?
Nice reward from the bush grab, 4 bomb drops. That's really convenient.
And the mirror, wow. Now, the other thing to keep in mind for a lot of these races is we'll actually see, this is like low percent central. So the fact that, they're each getting that 4th heart in the drop down is really important, because generally speaking, you're not going to see much more than 8 hearts for the majority of the run.
Yeah, it really depends on how on what the locations are. If they're like right next to something you need to get anyways, you might see a little bit more, but mostly it's out of the way. So it's just not worth it to pick it up. And it seems like we get some information on what the dungeons are. So I see Eastern is a pendant and Desert being a red crystal.
So krelbel's going to at least grab a few things in Blind's house. We get the big key to Hera, which is an interesting choice. Depending on how convenient Tower of Hera is, we might not need that key. Just with all the Hera pot strategies. While Matkap does grab a Meyer key.
That Meyer key is probably for convenience to go left side right away for potential.
And we just got a Castle Tower key and a Turtle Rock key on krelbel's side, along with that Cane of Samaria. I don't like the fact that we have a Castle Tower key. That does not that's kind of foreboding. And we did get those flute activations on both sides, so we will be off to the races, really. Yes, both of our runners did get those Tower of Hera big keys, so I've got to. Given that, I feel like we're gonna see them both go up there, and that a clear of Hera is required. So we do have some divergence here. krelbel's heading towards, looks like Sahasrahla, while Matkap is going to hit Mini Moldorm Cave.
It's interesting to see what items we're gonna find here. Oh, that cape indicates more and more that Aga might be required.
Yeah, that's not a great sign. We also got that big key to TR. Meanwhile, Matkap, I did see we got a bottle with a blue potion out of Mini Moldorm Cave, and it, according to the tracker, also a lamp.
Yeah, the lamp was actually on the NPC right there.
So yeah, Aga that's looking bad.
Now Matkap's also going to the eastern side. Yeah, it indeed looks more and more that this might be an Aga seed.
Yeah, we're just missing that second Aga key.
It could also just be for the second item, though.
True. Or this could be a lumberjack thing. This game does not always play nice.
No, you're right. That's also still in play.
But it looks like the only thing we actually needed out of Eastern were those flippers, at least for now. So krelbel is out of there after getting the flippers.
Yeah, krelbel now going for the sudden checks, so probably gonna pick up the lamp soon. I don't think we've seen a drained well on Matkap's side, have we?
No, we did not. So I'm wondering if this is a money play. Getting the flippers before going towards Mini Moldorm could indicate a play towards Zora. But we also are getting a big key out of here for Desert Palace.
For Desert, okay. Maybe on Matkap's side, they might route it in while going to Swamp. That might be a thing.
Yeah, we don't really have a great way into Desert right now, so it's not hugely important. But if we get the mitts, then we have access.
Yes, exactly. All right, Matkap now going. Oh, going to do the flipper checks. Okay.
So besides that short divergence to start, they are reconverging to these flipper checks.
And there's the hook shot. Okay. So this does mean that once they have Dark World X's, they can at least go into Swamp. I mean, they could have done that without the hook shot, but they still need, of course, the small key to go further into Swamp, obviously.
So nothing on the Zora ledge, but the fact that we're still going here tells us that Zora has something of importance today.
Is it the second small key to Aga Tower?
It is.
Oh no! Wow.
Very quickly, we are seeing that this is definitely going to be an Aga seed.
That's mean. And well, the fact that they're both seem to be going straight to Aga might indicate that the Moon Pearl is actually on the pyramid, or it's on the Lumberjacks.
Well, and krelbel is actually going up the mountain first. I wonder if there's some good items to find up here. We know that there's got to be a reason they're going for these Aga keys, but we're definitely, there are some ways to save yourself some time later. If krelbel finds the hammer or a glove, maybe that'll help routing the Dark World a little bit. Unfortunately, these this first room of Aga Tower with these ball and chain guards is not as easy. You're used to having at least your Master Sword usually here.
Yeah, that might also be a reason why krelbel decided to go up the mountain, maybe finding a better weapon of some sorts.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be the Lumberjack as the play, because that was very quick that, the pilots kind of put together, hey, this is an Aga seed, you got to do it. But we are going to get a Herapod, it looks like, from krelbel. Meanwhile, Matkap has to be very careful. This has been a very dangerous climb.
Nicely executed.
Very nicely executed to get through that. But we do still have that big key, so I gotta assume we're gonna pick something up.
Yeah, by the looks of it, the drop down as well, so there is something in that chest.
Okay.
Okay.
And we also get the big key to Ganon's tower, so very, very friendly location there. Yeah, that Hera big key was super required today. We're also seeing that stun prize is 20 rupees. So that's don't know if we'll see a lot of those, but if you're at all short on money, that's a great way to grind out some money. But given this play by Team OK Game, I get why you would hit the mountain first. For Matkap, it's going to be, get through Aga and just have to leave Dark World. Whereas krelbel is going to be able to, start going through Dark World. We could see easily a play over into Village of Outcasts. So.
True. But considering Team BlueBalls United is going straight to Aga, it's probably that there's an item on Lumberjack. But being an item on Lumberjack, it might be that, Matkap is probably just gonna save and then go to Sanctuary. But if that's a really important item, krelbel might potentially do the same. So it doesn't really matter. If that's the case, it doesn't matter too much that they would get the Moon Pearl earlier.
Now, krelbel is going to skip the east side of Death Mountain, so it's very possible, there's nothing over there too important yet. Yeah, that Moldorm fight was very well executed. When you get down to that last hit, especially when you only have Fighter Sword, you hold out that sword for dear life, hoping, you're using those pokes to kind of make sure you don't get bumped.
Yes, exactly. And that's always the scary part. If you fall off there, it's really costing.
So, Dark Shadow Rage, the reason they're skipping chess is this is a spoiler race. While krelbel and Matkap are racing, both of them have a pilot who is, feeding them information about where to go, pretty much. And we just got a small key to Turtle Rock. So, just based on, what we found there, I feel like it was a very, very heads-up play to go get that Moon Pearl first.
Yes, by the looks of it, definitely. So now we just see krelbel doing what Matkap just did, and Matkap doing what krelbel just did. So this is like a little bit of a we know what's going to happen kind of part.
Yeah, so if you look, thanks to our tracker, Ricky of Kokiri here, we see what those crystal pendants are going to be for this race. So Eastern, Ice, and Mire are pendants in this race, with the Ice being green, while our red crystals are Desert and Skull Woods. So those are two very early red crystals, I would say.
Depending on where you get the items, yes, I fully agree. Desert is you still need the mitts or the gloves to go to the back, and a book if you want to full clear it. Maybe even boots if there's something on the torch. But otherwise they need mitts at this point, and they can fully enter as well. Just the Titan's mitts, because they already have the flute to go to the Maya area.
Matkap having to be very careful. Down to one heart. That climb is a lot more risky than normally.
Yeah, because once you beat Aga 1, actually the overworld, the enemies on the overworld actually change. And it's a lot harder to do on Death Mountain with those enemies than without, obviously.
And it appears Matkap is going through Hera in a vanilla fashion. Unfortunately, I guess not too familiar with that bomb setup. Can't blame them. I am also not well versed in bomb Hera pot.
It could be the bomb setup, but it could also be Matkap is currently on one heart, so even the bomb setup would kill him.
Yeah.
That's a nice setup from Matkap for the bomb jump. That was really, really good.
Yeah, that's a scary one to make sometimes. You know, if you miss that bomb jump, you are going down 2 floors.
Yeah, that takes a lot of time to come back from. Well, not a lot, but at least a good amount. And if anything, so far the seed has been very linear in what to do.
So we are seeing fighter sword spins on Matkap's side. It won't actually speed up the fight. Fighter sword spins, master sword slashes, fighter sword slashes, they're all actually going to be equivalent damage against Moldorm, so we don't actually gain too much time. It's more a sense of safety throughout that fight. So krelbel is in Dark World though, and we're gonna get at least some checks. I'm gonna guess we're gonna get swim up and hook shot across.
Yeah, that seems like the right one. Because they don't have a glove, Catfish is not in logic yet, I believe.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the lesser known ways through Dark World. Over in a lot of the randomizer discords, I personally would say this is one of the very common questions that comes up from newer runners is, hey, I beat Aga, I've got hookshot, I've got flippers, but I got no way to get up. And, the first thing somebody always posts is, did you try swimming?
Right. Meanwhile, Matkap actually goes up the mountain. There's a big key that's definitely required.
But it looks like that's the only pickup for Matkap. Krelbel is going to hit up the graveyard ledge. And there's our first glove.
I think Krabble is actually going straight back and maybe go to Catfish? Or Krabble, I'm sorry, not Matkap. Or actually, no.
So Krelbel is going to continue on to Village of Outcasts. Unfortunately, when you only have a glove and no boots and no Titan's Mitt, the route through the graveyard is very slow. A lot of those rocks are the heavier versions, so you kind of have to work through it in this manner. But we are seeing a Skull Woods dip, so we do have something in here of importance. Our second
Okay, well,
glove.
that explains the Aga. Wow.
Very forced Aga seed. So I would say big props to the pilots for quickly determining this was Aga. Krelbel's trying to avoid that thief because we're going to see Thieves Town, at least the front half. We don't have the big key, so there's got to be something to make this a worthwhile dip.
The small kid of Pod is definitely a good one.
And we're getting the fire rod. So with that, Krelbel is out of Thieves Town. So those are two very important items, though, for this seed. I am slightly surprised that we're not seeing a Skullwoods clear right now, but without a better sword, I don't fault the play. Five heart Mothula or four heart Mothula is a very dangerous fight.
Yeah, that's not a fun one. Oh, that's interesting. So
That's
Meyer Bicky.
Yeah, that's you look and you see Meyer's a pendant, but we need a Meyer big key.
It might be because of safety, because maybe the pilot hasn't checked if Meyer has anything yet. So maybe like just pick it up for safety if we actually need it. But it could also mean there is actually something in Meyer.
Another one of our Turtle Rock Smalls. Yeah, Meyer's definitely one of those dungeons where you can easily route in the big chest.
That's definitely true. But yeah, for at least for Turtle Rock, they have enough small keys to clear the dungeon. They only have to skip, I believe, one chest, so they don't need any more small keys if there's nothing in there. And for regarding Meyer, we saw Matkap picking up a small key earlier, so maybe that indicates that there is actually something in Meyer.
And krelbel is heading into Swamp Palace without a hammer and without the small key. That means there's got to be something huge in this first chest of Swamp Palace.
It's either the vanilla small key, or I would say boots or hammer.
Yeah, those are the only things I could think of you'd really want. Oh, wow, that is a rude hammer.
Yeah, there's not a place where you want to see a hammer, honestly.
Yeah, as a person, as just thinking, if I was a runner in this one and I did not have a spoiler in front of me,
oh no,
this would be one of the worst seeds.
Oh, there's the bowl. Okay, so this means pod is fully open at this point.
Oh, there was another small key to pod in Hype Cave as well, so
I mean, now knowing that where the hammer and the bow were, I think it was really great from Team BlueBalls to actually pick up that big key on the mountain when they were there.
yeah, that'll save time for sure later.
All right, we're seeing a Meyer play here. I wonder what we're gonna find here. I'm almost certain it's either gonna be Ice Roll or Boots. Or maybe the medallion required for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I wouldn't go in there just for safety. It's got to be something kind of required for them both to go for that Meyer big. And that Beamos is really bullying. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately, Wizrobes, you don't sometimes realize it. They are really dangerous. They'll do 4 hearts of damage on green mail.
Dark rolled enemies as well. We basically saw a synchronized death there. Unfortunately, Matkap not being able to reach Hype Cave just in time before dying, so I actually have to wait off on the bow for a little bit.
But it does seem like, the play is Myers, so this must have something of high importance for our runners.
Could also be like the Thieves Town Big Key or Swamp Small even. Swamp Small would unlock a lot of locations right now.
And that was the
Oh
mushroom.
no!
Wow.
Is it one of those seeds? Really?
Oh, the fetch quests are coming out in an Agasteed for us. By the way, didn't comment too much on it, but Matkap found the Master Sword in Meyer Shed, so very nice little pickup before heading into the back of Desert Palace.
I can only imagine Krelbel is gonna get that once he's going
Yeah.
to Meyer.
And I think that's not bad for timing. I would say having the Master Sword in that Meyer 2 room would have helped. And there's our Swamp Small.
Yeah, okay. So that's actually a good reason to go into Meyer.
Yeah, to your point, Fred, definitely, this could be a much more convenient way of doing the fake powder or powder in general, so we'll see. Vortex, I don't believe there was a reason they couldn't. Because, yeah, they had everything. I mean, Matkap had to, because Matkap hadn't picked up the Desert Big Key at the dam. But krelbel did do the dam for that big key before, like, a lot earlier. And we've got Blue Mail on Land Molus.
Yeah, Blue Mail is a nice find. It's not required at all, but it's definitely, well, especially when you're in a pilot seat like this, where you barely pick up any health. It's a really nice thing to get.
Yeah, that's definitely been one of the most important safety items in this week of the league. A lot of other commentators have also pointed out, like, mail is practically doubling your health.
They're not wrong.
No, not at all. So the only major difference right now between positions of our runners is just that pod big key that Matkap picked up over in Paradox, and the bow and pod small that krelbel was able to get.
Okay, there's some extra money there for Krelbel.
So probably a potion buy and a mushroom turn-in coming in next.
That would make a lot of sense, yeah.
The other thing I just kind of thought about is krelbel skipping that mountain check of Paradox earlier. If we find Ice Rod very soon, I wonder if this is going to be a Paradox up and clear TR in one go kind of move.
I would think so, yeah. Oh, that's a Thieves Town Big Key. Okay, so that is actually required. So 2 items in Meyer that were actually required for the seed.
But we are getting an Ice Palace play. This is another one of our pendants. So, this is shaping up to be a heavy pendant seed. with Aga.
Oops, all dungeons?
Are we going to get a pet seed? That would be quite the treat.
No, I think if this was a pet seed, they might have tried to actually beat Meyer already because it's fully in logic.
Yeah,
Not easy, but it is possible.
Especially, I think krelbel would have, because with the bow, that's not the worst fight.
True. Matkap now going back to actually go to IPK for the bow. Oh, and that was a really nice room there. Oh. Really?
All the fetch quests. Oh, we got a Book of Medora. So that means we're either going to see Bombos or Ether Tablet very soon.
I mean, if it's Ether Tablet, Krelbel, or well, Team OK Game can route it in pretty nicely with that big key of pod.
Both of our runners are on Master Sword. We got our first sword off the Uncle and that second sword in the Meyer Shed. And I gotta believe we might see a swamp clear here as well. So yeah, swamp and then Bombos Tablet.
Yeah, that could be a play. Definitely. Now Matkap also joining Krelbel in Swamp here.
You know, it's the way these seeds proceed. You know, you see a lot of how the pilots can kind of map this out in their heads very quickly. So we're seeing some slight differences in how they're going about this, but the general overview of the route is the same. And kind of a smaller thing to consider for these races is the pilots may actually be watching each other's opponents. So that is allowed this week. So there might come a time, you know, if one of the runners gets a little bit further ahead, where the pilot says, hey, you know, you've got some safety here. Maybe go buy a potion. Maybe go out of your way for silver arrows, a sword upgrade, a mail upgrade. You know, you've got a little bit of time to spare here.
I think that's also what makes this pilot week so interesting. Not only because we have someone who's watching the spoiler and telling the runner exactly what to do, but also the fact you can basically get a little sneak peek on your opponent's side and saying, hey, that's actually pretty smart.
So we are seeing Diver down now. Both of our runners will be doing that. And since we got that Canis Maria, that will be the way to do that.
Well, there's an ice rod. And the boots. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a TR play after this, and krelbel saved that pod big key move until now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And one of the smaller details we're kind of getting here on krelbel's side is these heart pieces. There's been actually quite a few that krelbel has grabbed along the way, just like these little touches, and, you know, that extra health. You know, one heart difference right now, but could make a huge difference as we, you know, get into some of these other dungeons. So both of our runners are just going with Master Sword slashes. 2 slashes per puff, rather than trying for some double spins or, menu Argus. And another pod small is our reward for killing Argus.
It's interesting. Maybe not necessarily. We never know. We don't know what's in pod yet.
Yeah, we need at least at this point we could get away with just having 1 pod key if all we had to do was kill Helmasaur. But the fact that krelbel's got 3 now at this point and kind of went out of their way to get that key off of Hype Cave as well, tells, we're probably going to see at least some extra portion of the Palace of Darkness. Here we go with Bombo's tablet. What was our reason for getting that book?
It's silver. So okay, that's interesting. I mean, I get why they would get that, but is it really? It's not really necessary. But if you don't find any convenient sport locations, as Chad just said, it's really convenient to get it if they stay on Master Sword at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, Matkap's also going for it, so it definitely kind of screams that this might be our best weapon for Ganon. But the one thing, kind of looking at what we have left, are we in no mode?
Good one.
I mean, unless that TR medallion is not Quake, we are. I think we have everything, or know where it is.
You're totally right.
Because unfortunately, at this point, that pod big key that krelbel did not collect out of Paradox could be a big deal. Meanwhile, Matkap is heading to the library. So those boots, beyond just being fast, a heart container. Okay.
For safety, yeah, that's the easy pickup. Yeah, I understand that one. It seems like Thieves Hunt doesn't really have anything item-wise, and it's just a go mode. Thieves Hunt, at least, well, after they dipped in there before for the front items. But... don't have the small key, so there's also probably nothing in the big chest as well.
To your point, Scrub Casual, about that kind of route, the only thing I would kind of say is I feel like krelbel's probably going to head up to Skull Woods after this, and I think Matkap will do the same and clear that dungeon. But very nice blind fight on krelbel's side. I think maybe just slightly off script. And there's our tempered sword. So, whew, we are very well equipped for the end of this race.
Yeah, and this actually also makes me think that there might be something on the ether tablet, which is why they picked up that book. And finding out that there were silvers on bombos and it was easily to route in with swamp, they might have said, well, might as well take it.
And we're getting a hammer peg check.
Another pod small key, okay.
Interesting. That's our 4th pod small. How much are we required to do in that dungeon today? Because unless there is something that we are just not privy to yet, this seems overly planned. Like, we are super prepared for a pod dip.
Yeah, and considering the only thing that could stand in our way is the medallion for Turtle Rock. And considering Krelbel still doesn't have that big key yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I feel like the options at this point are Dark Maze or Harmless Hellway. You know, those are the only real spots that could be the reason for kind of having to collect all these pod keys. Matkap does get through blind though. Little scary there, but with the cape, that makes that fight a lot safer.
Meanwhile, Krelbel falling down on Mochila. Also, equipping the cape, probably gonna make use of that in a little bit. And Matkap opting to go directly to Skullwoods, not picking up that pod small. Or at least not yet.
And I feel like at this point, you know, Krelbel's got to be going up the mountain to get that up to Paradox Cave. You know, it's a huge find up there.
Yeah, I can't imagine they would do something else right now. Yeah, it's Krelbel going up the mountain. Most likely gonna pick up that big key. But I wonder if they decide to go Turtle Rock first, or actually just get that big key and go to Pod first. Or actually checking Ether Tablet.
So if you're in the runner's position, you know, do you go, you know, we know you need that pod big key. You can clear Turtle Rock. Are you clearing Turtle Rock on this trip, or are you just going to come back later?
That's an interesting one, because you need to go to the mountain anyways. At this point, I would say go Pod first, I guess? Oh, there's Bombos. That's probably required for Turtle Rock then.
So our runners are pretty much, you know, equal in terms of progress crystal wise, or are even there. The only real difference here is krelbel has bombos, which we are assuming is required for TR, and also has those silver arrows.
Yeah, so right now it looks like BlueBalls United is a little bit ahead, but they still need to get that bombos, obviously. But yeah, I still wonder, why would they have picked up 4 small keys then? I guess
Yeah,
just
at this point, is there anything you'd want as a runner? I mean, half magic would be nice, but that's a lot of that would be way out of the way to require that many keys.
Probably actually going left side first. Probably for safety. Matkap doesn't even bother going straight to the boss by the looks of it. Oh, there's that red mill, okay.
That is definitely good safety at this point. You know, we're only on 6 hearts. So, and I would say, I mean, even with, you know, being a few steps behind Matkap, those silver arrows. Okay. So this is those pod key uses. And it was for our harmless Hellway. What is the prize?
It's the butter sword, okay.
Interesting.
Really gearing up here.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that jump. That was really nice.
That was very nice. So the butter sword is a nice pickup. It's not necessarily going to save us as much time as that boost from master to tempered, but there are some things that are possible just because we have butter sword. Some of the strategies that we could see at this point is, you know, it does krelbel know how to do a 0 cycle Trinex. So that does put that in. It also makes the 1-1 against Ganon a lot easier. So these are slight little advantages that could make a big difference at the end.
True, true. Meanwhile, Matkap making quick work of that Helmosaur. So Matkap most likely going up the mountain right now. And just finishing TR. Not getting that sort of great or mill upgrade there. Oh, Matkap actually is opting to go for the silvers.
It will help, you know. Landmo 2, Ganon, those aren't bad things. Unfortunately, you know, because of the fact that Matkap had gone to Swamp before hitting Ice Palace, you know, didn't have the book in order to do this.
Yeah, after Matkap took the death before going to Mimic Cave, they probably routed, or Mimic Cave, Hype Cave. They probably routed Hype Cave together with Swamp at that point. So it was a little bit awkward to route both of them, because after Swamp, I believe they were getting the book in Ice, and it was a little bit awkward to route that and the Silver in at the same time. So I think mainly that's just adjusting on the fly. And that's it. Like I like the routing from Team BlueBalls, getting that pod big key before leaving the mountain early. But on the other hand, I like the play from OK Game, where they went swamp, ice, or first to ice, then clear swamp, and immediately get the silvers. So it's both had good routing, in my opinion, at some points at least.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing this so quickly and you don't really have a ton of time, you don't have any time to look. Oh, that rocks. When you don't have that time to look at the spoiler log beforehand, there's going to be little things that, could go either way on the advantage of routing. And you're kind of seeing this where a decision here, a decision there, it's not going to kill you. It's just, somebody's going to have a slight advantage at different spots in the race.
Matkap also getting that rocked.
And there's our confirmation. It was Bombos. And the pod keys we did see on Krelbel's side weren't really that far out of the way, I would say. Those were definitely in the route throughout.
It was, but I mean, yeah, it was. There another safety getting that that heart container. I would totally grab that as well. Yeah, that's the thing. That's also a thing you gotta consider when you're doing a pilot like this. Like the two pot smoke keys they picked up over that OK Game did pick up and BlueBalls didn't. They were not that far out of the way, but it costs time all together. And especially because you're going into pod and you're actually clearing more than quote unquote necessary. Is it worth it? That's also something you gotta consider when you're doing stuff like this. And it's interesting to see that both teams took a different take on that.
And we are synced up through the pipes of TR. BlueBalls? Matkap? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh no.
They still need to get the steal the key from the pokey.
I mean, if that was the last TR small is on Laser Bridge or something, that would be very heads up gaming.
Yeah, that would be incredible work from the pilot if that was actually the case.
Yeah, and realistically, all this talk of the swords, the 3 swords we had at this point on Matkap's side, all 3 of them were required, or you were gonna find them very easily in your route. That first one was required because we had to do Aga. The second one was Meyer Shed, which was very, nearby because we had to do that Meyer dip. And our third one was on blind. So, we were pretty much guaranteed Tempered Sword in this race.
All right, so now we're gonna see a Trinex fight, which for Team OK Game, it's gonna be a little bit easier than for Team Matkap, probably a little bit faster as well, or for Team BlueBalls, I should say.
We might not get too much of a time save here because it looks like, yeah, I think both of our runners are going to get one. Nope. Okay, so krelbel still has a slightly faster Trinex fight, just only getting one attack from the mid head.
Oh
no!
That's really unfortunate.
And you know, as we said at the beginning, this is the danger of pilot week. You have a you are like walking a tightrope of safety here. So in this case, krelbel having that red mail, having an extra heart container, it's gonna make a difference at times, and this is one of those occasions.
Yeah, in this case, having a red mill would have actually helped. So I would say that's a good play from krelbel to actually go for that safety. Matkap went for it, and sadly, he died to it.
I
Which is
don't know
very
if
unfortunate.
Matkap still has a blue potion. I thought Matkap used it earlier in the race. I don't remember if they got a refill.
No, I think there was a fairy in that, and krelbel actually bought a blue potion when turning into mushroom. I don't know if Matkap did actually. Not entirely sure.
Okay, so krelbel does grab that small key under the pot on the left side and is now beginning their climb up GT.
Yeah, they have found none of the small keys during the whole seed. So they were probably like all out of the way in this case. Maybe one or two small keys in GT itself.
But there's some of that advantage of those silver arrows. Very quick works out of both Mimics 1 and Mimics 2. And at this point, if I'm the pilot, I'm telling krelbel, hey, play it safe, maybe grab safety room up here. You've got the time to kind of spare here. So it's more just don't die. And this time Matkap does use that blue potion. We're not chancing it again.
Gonna go for cape strats, making use of the magic that he has.
And krelbel is through the gauntlet, coming into Landmolus 2.
Not gonna be a one cycle, but 2 out of 3 is not bad.
Yeah, 2 cycle using the silver arrows, not the worst. Could have gone with the sword slashes as well, but yes, that is still a great Landmolus 2. And will definitely be very difficult. I forgot. Matkap did pick up those silver arrows, so we could see a little bit of a time save there on Matkap's side. But very nicely done on both of those Wizrobe rooms.
Matkap actually going straight up. So I would think that there is at least a small key in the climb there.
I'm hoping so. If that is the case, that will save some time. Going out of your way for that pot key is a little bit slower than the chest at the top. But no. No.
Yeah, I think they just realized. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Meanwhile, krelbel is coming in on Aghanim 2, so we're going to play some geometry games. I think that was a double?
Yeah, it was a double. It should have been a double. Almost a triple. Apparently the first one was not counted as a double.
Yeah, I guess those two shots hit too close together. I know that's the one worry when you do when you have those shots is, if they hit pretty much on top of each other, it doesn't count. So looks like that's what happened there.
Matkap taking the safeties is out of magic because of the heavy cape uses. krelbel taking down Ganon. That's a 1 cycle on the first phase, also 1 cycle on the second phase, by the looks of it.
Yep. The benefit of that gold sword for sure. That's the one real benefit.
Not getting the torch glitch, but it's not that devastating when you have silvers.
But that was a very nice double there. And unfortunately, the torch went out. But here we go. There is the 4th silver arrow into Ganon for krelbel.
So that's GG for Team OK Game.
And krelbel has crossed the bridge and has finished with an official race time.gg time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 1 second. Once again, get those GGs in the chat for krelbel.
Yeah, so we're most likely gonna wait till Matkap is finished before we go to the interviews, so we have both of the runners and probably both of the pilots as well in there. bomb slightly misses the wall, sadly.
Yeah, I believe both of our runners kind of missed on that first throw. It happens. And are we going to get... We are getting a hover.
Oh. Okay, I like this.
Very nicely done by Matkap on that hover.
I like this. This is quality content. Alright, so Matkap only having 1 heart, no potions to help you out there, buddy. But I'm sure you can do it. So that was indeed a double.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Matkap has to be very careful in this fight. And that's why, yeah, that's rough.
That's so unfortunate. And by the looks of it, it seems that Matkap.
And I don't blame Matkap for that. That's a tough one, taking a death at the top of the tower. I don't know if I would want to climb it again either.
No, I wouldn't do it either. I totally understand that. It's just very unfortunate at this point.
What? Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, we are joined by all of our runners and pilots today, it looks like.
Yeah.
GG's, everybody.
GG.
GG's.
Yeah. GG's to krelbel for sure. Well played.
Thank you. It was exciting. My heart was racing for basically the entire thing. But I love this format. It's so much fun.
Yeah, for sure. It's really fun format. I think it's really fun, and it gives it a real different feel.
So,
well, yeah.
Nice hover Matkap at the end. I saw that on the stream.
Oh, I think I hit someone a bit low there. Don't know if you were asking something to me.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
a little bit low.
Oh sorry. Yeah, nice hover at the end. That was really good.
Oh well, thanks. I mean, I think we were quite close on Trinex, so at least that's decent. I don't know, the quick kill got there to me. It's a shame. I mean, especially since it could have been a much closer race till the end, and that could have been quite fun. But well, it happens. At one point, we only checked the rest stream at one point, and we thought we were behind. So we decided to skip the red mail and some more stuff, and well, it could have happened. It's a shame since I had 2 potions when I died in Trinex. I could have just not done the quick kill and used the cape. But well, it is what it is, and that's what makes it fun as well, I think. That's a low % play.
Yeah, I would. From our perspective, close throughout the whole race. I would say you had a synchronized tube passage in TR. Like you were at the same point in TR. So no, that was really quite close the whole way. A couple of little deviations leading up to that point. As you said, that red mail in pod, as well as the butter sword in the back of pod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
we were thinking about it, but in the end, we felt we were a bit behind, and we thought with the silvers and tempered, it should be enough. Obviously, well, in retrospect, obviously in hindsight, but not getting the mail was probably the
So you had the silvers. Okay, for some reason I thought you didn't.
Yeah, I did get them. I got them after, just before going to Turtle Rock. I wasn't sure if getting enough or not, and in the end we did. because I think at what point we thought we were behind, but then it turns out you hadn't gotten the pod key or something like that. So we were more or less at the same point.
Yeah, the only real route divergence between both sides here was for Matkap, you went and got that pod big key on that first trip up the mountain when you cleared Hera, whereas for krelbel's side, you went to Ice Palace before doing Swamp, so you picked up these silver arrows right after Swamp Palace. So yeah, that was the only real deviations besides those extra pod keys and obviously the red and gold sword or the red mail and gold sword. Yeah, not much in terms of divergence between the two runs.
Yeah, I think our thinking there was 2C told me that we were pretty close going into pod, but I think we routed in one more pod small, and I knew, or we were both aware that like gauntlet execution is one of my weaknesses, and so and we knew that it was going to be a low hearts seed. So we felt that like taking a little bit of extra time to pick up the extra safeties would have, helped protect me from from my own execution weakness in the late game, and it sounds like it worked out.
So to that point, I have to ask, maybe this is something you can answer, 2C can answer. Was that a conscious play to pick up a lot of heart pieces along the way? Because there was definitely a lot that you found kind of just in the path.
Basically, whenever I see heart piece, I tell Krell just pick up everything, because usually when there's like a bunch of chests, I don't want to be super specific. And if I see a lot of heart pieces, then it's really easy for me to be like, just grab everything, because the heart pieces will eventually become a heart container. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, it cuts down on the amount of like micromanagement necessary, and it also is like a nice investment in the future, just to to pick up a couple extra heart pieces here and there, a couple extra rupees. Yeah, that's kind of been our approach throughout our practice runs.
Yeah, for sure. Like some people starting with Hooligan or something, I do feel like getting those most of the time will help, especially.
So was that going to be the opening play though for both teams? Because obviously we got that 300 out of the sanctuary, and we saw pretty much everybody just say, "Nope, we don't need that anymore."
Yeah, absolutely. It totally caught me by surprise too, because I've literally every time it's always Houlihan start. Every time Houlihan start, and we've done so many practice runs, it's like muscle memory at this point. And then got the 300 rupees, and then I was halfway through walking through Sanctuary, heading to Houlihan before I realized, wait a minute, hang on, that's like. Well, I guess one of the two items that, like either 300 rupees or flippers. One of the two items that you get to change that plan.
Now, for the pilots, I have to ask, how quickly did you both figure out that was an Aga seed? Because very heads up on both both of the pilots to kind of just, we saw very quickly the Aga items picked up. So, how fast was that kind of in, the forefront of your minds?
For me, it was easy when I saw that the both gloves were in Dark World, so I was it. And I look for the gloves very, very early.
Yep, exactly. Like if the first stuff I check is boots,
Yes.
flute, and then
Mirror.
Like, yeah, mirror as well. Yeah, true. So it's like, it's the standard stuff. And as Kichune said, both gloves Dark World, I guess it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really the specific access to the gloves in this seed with needing to swim through the North Dark World river. That's so rare. I think I've done it like only a couple times ever, and like navigating, like swimming around those little rocks. It's just like, oh my gosh, this is so frustrating.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the rarer forms of Dark World navigation required in this game.
Yep, it's a holy image in the Discord for a reason.
Exactly. But
Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
this seed had a little bit of everything in terms of fetch quests. We had that Aga, we had a required book find, the mushroom of all things as well. So, as well as I think, did you dip all 3 pendant dungeons in this seed?
Yep.
Whew.
I'm pretty sure it did, because in Eastern
Can't really say
there
now.
was the flippers.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, the seed, I do feel the seed was like a little bit good in a way. Like Alga seed, I feel is actually quite good in spoiler, as it gets a lot of time for the pilot. In having to get the flippers in Eastern Palace and the Aga time, I feel the pilot there got quite a bit of time.
Agreed. Yeah, I can see how that would make a huge difference.
Yeah,
So-
like
honestly- Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, like Dark World access in Kakariko, in my opinion, in spoiler log, is like the worst kind of seed you can.
Yeah, it opens up a lot of stuff if you have Dark World access in like really early game. So it's really difficult to route everything together. But yeah, Aga seeds are definitely a really like blessing for the pirates, for the pilots. It gives you like a nice 5-minute break, or not break, but like a 5-minute
Time to think.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
exactly.
sure.
Yeah, it definitely showed that, by the time you hit Dark World, there was a very solid plan in place on both ends.
At least we knew that we need mushroom, we need book, all of these things that we need ether, that we need quake, that Misery Mayer has necessary deep, and these kind of things. This is what you can get with these 5 minutes.
Now, this was game 1 in between the two teams here for Pilot Week. So, when is game 2 scheduled for?
Tomorrow?
Yeah,
2
like in
hours
20
earlier.
hours.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah,
who
yeah.
is running and piloting for those races?
So for BlueBalls United? Oh, you go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. For our team, for Team OK game, 2C is piloting again, and I'm actually running.
Cool. Okay. For ourselves, I will be piloting, and Asathas will be playing.
Okay. And of course, I know the other thing that's come up in discussions from some of the other interviews this week is we've got Mystery Week next week. Everybody looking forward to some entrance rando or inverted seats?
Please. Yes, inverted entrance, everything. Let's
Anything
go.
but retro.
Anything but
Yes,
retro.
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, maybe retro, not summer. Yeah.
For fun,
I
whatever.
wouldn't mind playing Crosskies myself, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. In Mystery, I just feel it's a shame when we get like really easy standard sets. Let's just hope for something weird that is fun to watch.
Yeah, whenever I get mystery, I'm always hoping for entrance. It's my favorite format to run. I love it so much. I've loved it ever since the first, like in 2017, back before it was even automated, when the first couple entrance seeds were handcrafted for testing, and I just fell in love with it immediately. It was I love it so much. Entrance is great.
Yeah, I'm
Great to
also
hear the
looking forward to
enthusiasm.
Mystery. Yeah, I'm also looking forward to Mystery because I already booked my vacation. Week 5, I'm not doing anything, so that feels really good.
So As you can see, though, on the screen right now, we do have some more scheduled races. It is a busy weekend. I'm sure anybody who's in the Discord for the league has noticed all those voice channels, and they are jam-packed for the next couple of nights. So, there are plenty of races to find and to watch. But I guess, do you have anything else on your end, Wired Wiki?
No, nothing much. I had a couple of questions, but you already already got to that. So that was nice that we actually kind of had both of the same questions regarding the seed. The only thing I want to say is once again, GG to the runners and the pilots, and also big shout out to Ricky for tracking and restreaming. So that's pretty amazing. It's a lot of. I always feel like, especially tracking is definitely underwhelming, or at least it is seen as an underrated job. Let's say it like that. So a big shout outs to that, definitely.
Especially in a keys seed.
Especially in a
especially
case here, yes.
Identity, yes. There's so much you need to keep track of, and especially even in spoiler, because you're just gonna the route is gonna be as efficient as possible. So there's gonna be a lot of pickups along the way. There's basically no time for like a pause until they are pretty much in go mode.
So, but I guess with... Oh, sorry, what were you about to say?
No, I was only going to say that, that being copilot, making it Kisanity makes it so much fun.
I must say, from everybody I've talked to this week about piloting, it seems like the pilots have had a great time with this week. We've once you kind of pick it up, it's really a fun practice to go through and understand a spoiler log and how to read it quickly.
Oh, I actually have a quick question for Matkap. So you were running today, but you're piloting tomorrow. Which do you prefer? Which role do you enjoy more?
I enjoy both, but there is less pressure with Asathas playing. I will say that. I really like both, to be honest. As they were saying, it's been a really fun format to practice in both roles. I think, execution-wise, it's really, really, really good practice. Obviously, after what has happened, it feels a little bit bad, especially would have been a really close race. And hopefully, we would have remembered the Ganon small key. I'm not sure if we would have remembered it, honestly, in all the hype. So in that way, I think it's better to die in Trinax than to climb without a key, At least. But both roles are really fun. It's a really, really fun format, as well as co-oping for sure. I think that when we are playing with someone, it's always going to be more fun. It takes a little bit out of the pressure out of just not doing the right check and losing because of that sometimes.
Fair enough, but I believe that is going to do it for us today on ALTTPR League 1. Thank you again to both of our runners today, krelbel and Matkap, as well as pilots, CoCom with Wired Wiki, and of course Ricky of Kokiri on tracking and restreaming. Just a little reminder, today is this game that we so greatly love, Link to the Past. Apparently it came out 29 years ago today. In case anybody had not seen, yes, this game is officially out for 29 years. And it still has such a massive, massive following and keeps getting new changes with a great rando community. So just wanted to kind of point that out if anybody was unaware.
Yeah, that is amazing. GG guys, and thanks everyone for commentating and stuff.
Yep, GG.
GG's.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah, once again, GG.
Tomorrow,
I think that's it for us. So once again, thank you all for everyone who made this possible, and we'll see you on the next race.